We are officially in week 4 of our journey with John and Jane. By now, they have their sleep, their daily protein intake, and their movement dialed in. Their bodies are primed, and they need sustainable energy to keep going. They would love to enjoy a simple bowl of rice or a baked potato, but for John with his diabetes and Jane with her PCOD, eating plain carbohydrates feels terrifying. That fear comes from a biological reaction called the naked carb attack. This happens anytime you eat simple, starchy carbohydrates on their own, without any other foods to act as a buffer. When starch hits an empty stomach, your digestive system gets to work instantly. Within minutes, stomach enzymes break the food down and melt it into a fast-moving stream of liquid glucose. For John, this liquid glucose floods into his bloodstream like a tidal wave. His diabetic pancreas immediately panics, struggling to produce enough insulin to handle the sudden, massive rush of sugar. Jane's body experiences that same sudden wave, but her reaction happens in her hormonal system. The massive spike in sugar triggers a biological alarm, locking her body into a fat storage emergency mode. For people with diabetes or PCOD, eating carbohydrates alone triggers a biological reaction that stops the body's healing process in its tracks. But they don't have to quit carbs forever. Professor Stickman introduces them to a simple behavioral trick called food sequencing. This allows them to eat carbohydrates safely without overwhelming their organs. The golden rule of food sequencing is entirely about preparation. Before John or Jane take a single bite of rice or potato, they eat a heavy dose of soluble fiber, like a large starter plate of raw cucumbers, leafy greens, or broccoli. John and Jane can still eat the foods they love. The only change is the specific order in which that food hits their stomach. The secret to neutralizing the danger of carbohydrates lies in what arrives in the stomach first to prepare the environment. Let's follow that plate of broccoli and cucumbers as it travels down into an empty stomach before the carbohydrates arrive. When that soluble fiber lands, it begins to mix with the natural fluids inside the empty stomach. As it soaks up the liquid, the fibrous matter physically expands, completely morphing into a thick, glowing, sticky jelly. This jelly spreads out and coats the intestinal walls, laying down a thick, protective gut shield. 15 minutes later, they eat their rice. Sugar rushes in, but instead of hitting the stomach walls, it crashes into the sticky net, getting physically trapped inside. By eating vegetables first, John and Jane have constructed an internal security system that physically disarms the danger of the incoming carbohydrates. Because the sugar is thoroughly entangled in that thick, sticky jelly, it is completely trapped. It cannot flood into the bloodstream all at once. This creates a powerful mechanism we call the glucose brake. Instead of a rushing wave, the sugar is forced to leak out of the protective net slowly, drop by drop. John's diabetic cells can handle this tiny, gentle stream of energy. He absorbs the nutrition he needs without triggering a massive insulin response, keeping his energy stable all afternoon. The physical barrier turns a chaotic sugar tsunami into a controlled, safe trickle. This slow-release mechanism helps Jane manage her PCOD symptoms at a cellular level. Because her protective net prevents a sudden sugar wave, her body stays calm. Her internal monitors never register a massive spike, so they never send out a systemic distress call. Without that insulin panic, Jane's ovaries don't receive the biological signal to manufacture male-type hormones. Reducing these male-type hormones helps her body release abdominal fat and naturally clears up hormonal acne. You do not need to live in fear of your food. You can enjoy carbohydrates and still heal your metabolism. Achieving weight loss and hormonal balance starts with your protective shield. Eat your veggies, trap the incoming sugar, and enjoy your meal safely.
Thanks for watching Body Science School. Please like, share, and subscribe the channel for more.